catching. Ah, c'est ça. Without catching any Pokémon. Et du coup, t'as quoi? T'as celui de base. T'as le... Tu peux acheter un Magikarp. Est-ce qu'il y a autre chose? Est-ce qu'il te donne autre chose? Vous allez penser dans quel jeu?
I attempted a Pokemon Nuzlock challenge without ever catching any Pokemon. This sounds insane, but I tried it. Here's what happened. So, this is me, a man incapable of throwing Pokeballs, which I'm constantly teased about, as everyone calls me can't catch 'em. This is the source of my trauma. Thankfully, we don't have to catch our starter, since it's just given to us. So we can actually get a Pokemon, and both of these are valid choices. No, not you, Frog. Let me know in the comments which starter you'd be choosing, but for me, I decided to take Score Bunny, a cute little rabbit who I named Thugs Bunny, the first member of my gang. But if our bunny faints at any time, it's dead, buried, and can never be used again. And we can't just grind it up to level 100 either, since we're capped at the level of the next gym. So, with these rules and no way of catching any extra Pokemon, basically, we are screwed. Anyway, after beating up our rival, Hop, we meet the Galar champion, Leon, and this guy is a jerk. He makes fun of my catching capabilities before rubbing it in by catching a Pokemon right in front of me. I hate this guy. The Pokemon around here seem easy to catch. Yeah, not for me. After a short stroll through Route 2, we're faced with our first real battle of the challenge as we have to tackle Hop in a 3 versus 1. And while our one singular bunny is heavily outnumbered, there is one thing in our favor. Hop is garbage. So, thankfully, with an onslaught of embers, Thugs Bunny quickly burns his whole team to a crisp. Despite the beatdown, he continues to tease me, asking how many Pokemon I've caught, the same as the number of battles you've won in your entire career, Hop. L plus ratio plus Nepo baby.
Boom. Roasted.
Although it is a problem that we only have one Pokemon, because right now we're one mistake away from game over. But thankfully, that's about to change, because after a short train ride, we meet this charitable couple, and now we have an important choice to make. They'll give us an Eevee and a Pikachu, but under the Nuzlock rules, we can only get one Pokemon per area. So we need to decide which of these two we want to take. Normally I'd say Eevee, but since these are special Pokemon who can't evolve, I'm taking Pikachu. So now we were armed with our chubby electric mouse, and our team size had doubled. I charged into the wild area, and while we can't get any Pokemon here, we can find a bunch of useful items like the leftovers, new moves, and some berries. And after that, we arrive in Motorstoke, where Leon gives us a burnt piece of wood. Thanks, I guess. While in Motorstoke, we meet Team Yell, the overweight hooligans cosplaying as a rooster. Anyway, Scorbunny quickly double kicks their dark types to the Shadow Realm, and after the opening ceremony, our gym challenge can finally begin. Hop tries to stand in our way again, but Scorbunny annihilates him, with Thugs Bunny evolving into Raboot as a result. Oh, but where's Hop? Hop's in the dumpster, exactly where he belongs. Our team was starting to improve, but with only a fire and electric type, we just need to pray that we don't run into a ground type. But thankfully, this trainer doesn't actually have any ground moves, so we survived this horrifying encounter. Although it does highlight that we have some crippling weaknesses. And this cave isn't done with us yet, because waiting for us at the exit is Bede, an arrogant trainer who thinks he's so good just because he can throw a Pokeball. I could do it too, yeah? Show me. Fine. Feast your eyes on this. We're forced into a battle with Bede out of sheer embarrassment, and this is our first real hurdle of the challenge. He's got 3 psychic types, and we don't really have an answer for them. I send in Plot Armor, the Pikachu, and hit Solosis with an Uwu Nuzzle, leaving it paralyzed. Unfortunately, it still hits its confusion for big damage. However, thanks to the speed drop from paralysis, our Electro Ball gets a power boost, crushing Solosis in one shot. Then against the Gothita that follows, we repeat the same process, with Electro Ball just falling short this time. However, we finally get some luck, as Bede is fully paralyzed on the next turn. This gives Pikachu an opening to safely finish Gothita, bringing Bede down to his final Pokemon. Once again, Pikachu lands Nuzzle, but a confusion from Hatsuna means that we're just one critical hit away from death. I desperately need to protect Pikachu at all costs. So I switch in Raboot, and Hatsuna instantly lands a critical hit. We were seconds away from disaster there. Thanks to the deadly mix of leftovers, combined with Protect, our Raboot can just hang on long enough to let land a barrage of quick attacks, finishing Hatena and finally giving us the win
Ok,
over
pas mal,
B.
pas mal, pas mal.
After that insanely close
est-ce
win,
qu'il donne
we're
après?
viciously crushed by a rolling Wooloo before arriving in Turffield. Our first gym is here,
Je
but
pense pas que
the
là il
leader
aurait un
is
Pokémon avant
Milo, a
l'autre.
grass-type user. So, Thugs Bunny pulled up, and this was a total drive-by. A flame charge immediately incinerates Gossifleur before two flame charges quickly take care of the giant Eldegoss. With Milo left in a blaze, we'd earned an easy first badge. However, the next gym is a totally different story. But before that, on the next route, yet another person takes pity on my pathetic catching skills and gives us a Toxel, who I named Boss Baby, our CEO of the Weak to Ground Types Corporation. Seriously, we are one earthquake away from catastrophe here. Regardless, we pressed on, soon arriving in the town of Holbury, and it's here that we meet the league chairman, Rose. Wow, chairman, you're so cool when you catch Pokemon. Your Pokeball throws are so cute. Actually, I hate this guy. Our next gym is also here, and this one is tricky. Nessa uses water types, so our Thugs Bunny is basically useless here. This means it's all up to our two electric types. So, after putting together a deadly plan, I stepped up to face Nessa. She leads with a Goldeen as I throw out the Boss Baby for its debut. Step one of my plan is to turn this Goldeen into a helpless little fishy. To do this, first we paralyze Goldeen with Nuzzle before spamming Tearful Look, which lowers both of our opponents' offensive stats. Now we can unleash our plot armor. With Goldeen doing pathetic damage, Pikachu is cleared to boost its speed with agility as well as its special attack with Nasty Plot. This turns our Pikachu into a monster, as now our Electro Balls are supercharged. And from here, it was a slaughter. Pikachu mercilessly crushed Goldeen as well as the Arrokuda that followed. Even Nessa's Dynamax Turtle was electrocuted instantly, giving Can't Catch Him his second badge.
Ça c'est facile.
So
Mais dès qu'il va être sur un truc un peu compliqué.
I hate you so much. Moving on, in the second Galar mine, Bede returns and I am worried. He's been our hardest challenge so far, and now he's got an even better team. He leads with Solosis, so I go with Pikachu and set up a Nasty Plot. But then I'm hit by Psyshock and it does enormous damage. We're already pinned as I can't survive another hit. So I just fire off an Electro Ball and thankfully it crushes Solosis. But then I tried the same move against Gothita and it barely survives. Our Pikachu is already weak and on the brink of death as Bede fires off another Psyshock and Pikachu survives. We're still in a tough spot, but since I know that Bede is going to heal, we safely set up an agility, and this makes a huge difference, as now a single Electro Ball can finish Gothita before we clean up Bede's final two Pokemon no problem. We may have gotten the win, but that battle was way too close, and the danger doesn't stop there, because after kicking Team Yell's Dark types, we exit the cave before returning to Motorstoke, and this place horrifies me, because there are two battles here that are insanely deadly. The first of which is Marnie, who has some dangerous dark types. And honestly, this fight started really well, as Raboot was able to handle her first two Pokemon without taking too much damage. However, then more Peko emerged. This rat is deadly. Unfortunately, our double kicks just fall short of finishing it off before more Peko charges up a huge bite and Raboot just survives on 1 HP. That critical hit almost slayed our rabbit. I have to switch to avoid the incoming quick attack, making it a Pikachu vs Imposter Pikachu showdown. But thankfully, two quick attacks from our electric rat just gets the job done, finishing Marnie's final Pokemon. We've been so close to death in our last few fights, and it felt like our luck was running out, especially when you realize that the next fight is against the third gym leader, Kabu. And I mean, just look at this stacked roster. His Pokemon are so powerful for this early in the game, while we have a fat rat. These three did not fill me with confidence, so I needed a new plan and headed for the Isle of Armor. Do you think you could catch this Slowpoke for me? Normally I could, since I'm so good at catching Pokemon and all, but right now I'm too busy playing our sponsor, Honkai Impact 3rd. This game has something for everyone. You've got stunning 3D action combat. You've got an open world to explore and get lost in, as well as a great storyline. You'll be supporting the channel and get to experience an awesome game. Once in the Isle of Armor, we meet this dude. He's the Diglett guy who can give us one of these amazing Pokemon. But I can only pick one under the rules of this challenge. So let me know who you would pick in the comments. But after yanking a bunch of these little Diglett out of the ground, I decided to choose Slowpoke. I
What?
name her
Oui,
Sumo,
c'est vrai.
the immovable object. Now we finally have a
Il a
water
un
type,
truc, il a un
and
truc.
it's even got an amazing ability. So, with our upgraded roster
En vrai, ouais,
assembled,
ouais.
we
Parce que sinon,
step
j'aurais
into
pris.
the third gym. In this challenge, you'll
Non,
have
c'est pas
to
poussé
catch
achat. Comment
Pokemon
il
to
s'appelle?
earn points.
Pour avoir fait l'inferno.
I hate it here. For the first time in
Parce que
this
l'inferno, il est
challenge,
monstrueux.
we actually have more Pokemon than the gym leader, and under my rules, we can only bring an equal number to make it a fair fight. So I decided to throw our baby onto the bench, leaving us with this trio as we stormed into Carbu's gym. I lead with our brand new Slowpoke, and after being instantly burned by Ninetales, we land a Yawn, putting the fox to sleep on the following turn. This lets me safely bring in Pikachu, who now has the ability to surf. I quickly set up a nasty plot, however, Ninetales immediately wakes up, jeopardizing my whole plan. Except we finally get some luck as it misses Will-O-Wisp. This lets me land a very crucial second nasty plot, and while we are burned this time around, the damage is already done. A single superpowered surf wipes Ninetales off the map, and the Arcanine that follows suffers the exact same fate. In the face of Carbu's oversized centipede, we Gigantamax our Pikachu into this adorable, chubby behemoth before one last surf washes away Carbu's final Pokemon. That gives us a clean third badge, and I was feeling great. Our Pikachu is a beast. Surely it'll live to see the end of this video, right? For now, a short ride brings us to Hammerlock.
C'est bien qu'il garde Pikachu quand même.
Oh god, not this guy again. Well, well, well. If it isn't, can't catch him. Okay, I refuse to be mocked by a man in bike shorts. We can't take on the Hammerlock gym until
Par
later.
contre, lui, ça va être chaud.
We can get some
Dragon
great
parce qu'il a
items, like
Libégon
a
et tout.
Focus Sash, as well as the TM for Thief. And this is important, because after having Pikachu cannibalize its own kind, including this Pikachu, who made a weird noise when we thunderbolted it, eventually, we thieve ourselves a light ball. This turns
ça, c'est
our
bien.
weak, vanilla Pikachu into a Super Saiyan demigod, doubling its offensive power. And the upgrades don't stop there, as our boss baby finally evolves into an awesome Toxtricity. They grow up so fast. A short trek through Route 6 brings us to Stowonside, and after unleashing our newly improved team onto Hop, our next gym battle awaits. But this one is a problem. B has some insanely powerful fighting types, and we don't really have any way to deal with them.
Parce que
At least
moi,
not
j'avais
yet,
bouclier,
because
je me battais
while
sur
we
un petit peu
can't
spectre.
catch Pokemon, we can revive some
Pas
dead
combat.
ones. So after digging up a fish fossil as well as a Drake fossil in the wild area, we can resurrect Dracovish, a deadly water dragon who has no arms, so neither of us can throw Pokeballs. I name our new fish Pac-Man because his strong jaw is going to be chomping all over our enemies. And with Thug's Bunny evolving into its final, deadliest form, Cinderace, our team had really come together. We may still be just one bad fight away from losing the entire challenge, but I was proud of how far we'd come. So we stepped up to B, and it was time to unleash Dracovish. A single Psychic Fangs wipes out Hitmontop before two liquidations take care of Pangoro. Surfetched also gets chomped by our prehistoric demon, leaving B with only Machamp, which she Gigantamaxes into this terrifying thing. It deals out some big damage, but not enough, as two Max Mindstorms finish the fight, giving us a clean fourth badge. But Dracovish wasn't done yet, because he viciously crunched through Bede's entire roster of Psychic types, and Rose was not pleased. Bede, for that embarrassing performance, I sentence you to watching 50 hours of Pokemon Ultra Sun cutscenes. Oh god, anything but that, and you have to read all the dialogue too. No! While Bede was struggling, for me, business was booming. Our Slowpoke had evolved into its beefiest, chunkiest form, and we quickly reached Bologna, where, after picking up a Choice Scarf, we can immediately face off against a Fairy-type gym. But honestly,
Il a la Light Ball
this
sur
fight
Pikachu,
is
il a un
really
Choice Scarf,
straightforward, since our
il a
poisonous
la
boss baby
Toxpex,
is the
il a
perfect counter. With a toxic barrage of
Flagados et
attacks,
tout.
we quickly cleaned up Opal,
Il a
burying
Dracovish.
her 6 feet
En vrai,
under,
il a une bonne team,
and
hein.
quickly collected our fifth
Il a une bonne team.
badge. After quickly moving through to Circhester City, here we find Hop. I've got to figure out what to put on my team once and for all. Must be nice, Hop. I literally have 5 Pokemon and don't get any choice. But at this point, our team was dominating. The Rock Gym of Circhester City was a complete demolition job, and the Dark-type Gym of Spikemuth was a similar story. While Pikachu had a really close call, ultimately this was another clean takedown, netting us badge number 7 in no time at all. However, this is where the good times end, because next is Raihan, and this is a deadly double battle against dragons. His Pokemon are powerful, and I am terrified of what comes next. Regardless, I assembled my best quartet as we charged into the ring, ready to face our toughest opponent yet. Raihan leads with a pair of Gigalith and Flygon, so I send in my 2 water types, hoping for some quick KOs. But Flygon moves first, hitting a breaking swipe that does big damage to Dracovish, while also lowering my attack, which is disastrous. Thankfully, a quite-effective Ice Fang still cleans up Flygon, as a Scald from Slowbro also dishes out big damage to Gigalith. Raihan thinks he's playing OU singles, setting up a Stealth Rock before bringing in Sandaconda. Now, in an ideal world, I would KO both of these at the same time, giving us a 2v1 against his Gigantamax Duraludon. However, the attack drop from earlier means that a liquidation isn't enough to KO Sandaconda, letting it annoyingly paralyze my fish with Glare. Despite that, Slowbro does finish off the snake with Scald, before Sumo somehow manages to dodge a Rock Blast. I don't know how you can miss a target this big, but I'll take it. Anyway, this brings out Duraludon, and I'm in a terrible spot. Slowbro can't deal much damage, and Pac-Man is absolutely crippled, basically just a sitting duck at this point. I can't risk losing Dracovish, so send in our beloved Pikachu as Raihan charges up his G-Max special move, and... Pikachu! Our reliable electric mouse, who had been with us for so long,
Damn,
had
ils ont tué
finally
Pikachu.
fallen.
Ils ont tué Pikachu. En plus, il avait la
And
live.
it
Oh
won't
là
be the
là
last
là.
if we
Ça,
can't
c'est
find
le
a way
seum.
to
C'est le
deal
seum.
with this giant steel dragon. But before that, Slowbro finally finishes off Gigalith with a Max Geyser, leaving us in a 2v1. With Dracovish crippled, our only option is to send in Cinderace, who is pummeled by Stealth Rock. We're in such an awful spot, and it only gets worse as Raihan prepares to execute Cinderace with a super effective Max Rockfall, and we just hang on, surviving on only 3 HP. We're on the brink of death, but this is perfect because Thugs Bunny whips out its trap card as counter deals double damage back to Raihan, slaying the giant dragon in just one shot. We had barely beaten Raihan and earned our final badge in an insane clutch. However, at what cost? We lost our mascot, our icon, our plot armor. Pikachu, rest in peace, buddy. Did I get some X in the chat for our fallen comrade? But through the pain, we have to press on, and only having 4 Pokemon puts us at serious risk. So it was time to get our final Pokemon. Back in the Isle of Armor, Mustard takes pity on my pathetic catching skills, offering us one of these 2 Kanto starters. We're all good for water types, so I pick up Bulbasaur, who I name Lettuce. And after quickly evolving into the Big Lettuce, now we had our final team. This group of disposed of, unwanted heroes are all we can rely on to conquer the rest of Pokemon Sword. Let's do this. We press on through the treacherous battles of Route 10, including Cappy Jeffrey, who I slap into the dirt, bringing us to the final city, Wyndon. Now we're in the endgame, a gauntlet of tough trainers with powerful teams of strong Pokemon. And with only 5 Pokemon left, we're just one bad battle away from our team falling apart. But the only way is forward. This is the Champions Cup. First is Marnie, and she makes a fatal mistake by using Swagger on Dracovish, leaving us confused while also boosting my attack. However, Pac-Man packed a berry to kill the confusion.
Il avait prévu, il avait prévu. Il avait prévu qu'il allait se faire
the rest of her team, no problem. Congratulations, Marnie, you played yourself.
confus.
Next up is Hop, and while
Se faire
he
confus.
may now have a beefy Snorlax, we
Ça veut
have
rien
an
dire ce
even
que je dis là.
beefier Slowbro. After Sumo
C'est pour la
asserts its
confusion,
dominance,
et du coup il
most
a
of
pris la baie.
Hop's team crumble without much trouble, although it is important that Cinderace finishes his penultimate Pokemon, as this means that Thugs Bunny is in against the deadly Rillaboom. But we're glocked and loaded as a Max Flare
Glocked and
melts down that
loaded.
monkey. With that, Hop had been defeated for the 95th time. And the winner is... Can't catch him. Oh man, even the announcers are making fun of me now. Sir, is it true that you've never caught a Pokemon? Of course not. I've caught lots of them. Hundreds even. Can we see your Pokedex then? This interview is over. After a brief interruption by Rosa's dominatrix mummy, the next phase of the Champions Cup has us compete in a tournament against Galar's gym leaders. But before that, we're interrupted by Bede, who's hungry for revenge after we basically ended his entire career. Do you have any idea of my suffering? 50 hours of Ultra Sun cutscenes. They never end. But now, I'll finally get my revenge. Bede's team is a deadly combination of Psychic Fairies, which threatens to wipe most of our Pokemon. And let me tell tell you, this fight did not go to plan. His Mawile lead is the least threatening of his quartet, so I send in Venusaur and begin spamming Charm to nerf its attack, as well as Leech Seed for recovery. With Mawile now totally harmless, I slowly whittle it down, and before executing our setup, I decide to drain Bede's potion, and he doesn't use it? Bede just lets Mawile die, and this is a disaster. I needed to set up on Mawile, but now I've got a Gardevoir staring me down, ready to obliterate my team, and I am panicking. I use Leech Seed, for some reason, as Gardevoir sets up a Calm Mind, and this horrifies me.
Calm Mind, ça c'est
I
chaud.
just hit a Seed Bomb for
chaud, il est
solid
boosté.
damage, ready to accept my fate, and Bede just uses Wish. This slice of absurd luck allows Venusaur to land one more Seed Bomb, finishing Gardevoir. But we're still not safe, as next in is Galarian Rapidash, who immediately cripples Venusaur with a big Psycho Cut. We respond with Charm to harshly lower its attack, but if Bede gets a critical hit, our Venusaur is dead. Regardless, I take the risk as Rapidash charges up another Psycho Cut, and we just hang on. This allows Venusaur to land a Leech Seed, which is huge. At this rate, we're still going to be decimated by Bede's Dynamax Hatterene, so we have no choice but to try and set up on Rapidash. So I bring in Cinderace, and thanks to Venusaur putting in an absolute shift, we recover back most of the damage that Rapidash can deal. This allows Cinderace to set up 2 workups, as well as a substitute before baton passing these to our boss baby, Toxtricity. Our substitute eats the incoming Psycho Cut before Bede's Pony is sent to the glue factory with Sludge Wave, and thanks to our workup boosts, a single max ooze from our toxic boss slays Hatterene in a single shot, and we had somehow clutched up. We easily could have wiped out to that boosted Gardevoir, and while I was relieved to survive, now I was horrified of the fight still to come. Thankfully, that fear doesn't include our next fight, as Nessa is about to feel a shock equal to that of sticking a fork into a power socket. Because Toxtricity runs wild here. By wrapping it in a fashionable Choice Scarf, we outspeed and electrocute every single one of Nessa's Pokemon in record time. Once her Dreadnought is fried to a crisp, we claim a quick win. And the next fight against B is a similar story, as Dracovish chomps through her entire roster with an onslaught of Psychic Fangs. And with that, only one gym leader remained. Raihan, the Pikachu Slayer himself. What's that, kid? Still
Mais lui c'est un
not over your
2v2.
plot
Attends, à la
armor?
fin est-ce que c'est un
Don't you dare
2v2?
say that name. Pathetic. Why don't you just go
Non, je crois pas.
catch another one? I'll kill you. This was our shot at revenge, and there would be no mercy. The Dragon Master leads with
ouais, du
Torkoal
coup, ouais.
for some reason, setting up the sun. So I have Dracovish immediately use Rain Dance to override it. This prevents Torkoal's Solar Beam from going off before a single liquidation drowns that turtle
c'est
on the
x4.
following turn. And
C'est
Dracovish
Roche, du
wasn't
coup, c'est
done
x4
yet.
et
Our
ça
boy
one-shot,
was
ça
about to
one-shot.
go wild, as super effective Outrages mercilessly sweep through Raihan's next 3 Pokemon in a brutal beatdown. With our Lumberry curing our confusion, all that remained was Duraludon, the murderer who slayed our Pikachu in cold blood. This thing is dangerous. We both Dynamax our Pokemon as Dracovish lands a Max Wormwind, which does decent damage while also having the added effect of lowering Raihan's attack. And this is crucial, as it lets Pac-Man survive a G-Max depletion with enough HP to hit one more Max move on the following turn. After Raihan heals, we hit Duraludon with one last Max move as both of our Dynamaxes expire. But with Duraludon's attack nerfed,
Ah oui, là,
I can safely
il est dans la
switch
merde.
into Slowbro, the witness to Pikachu's demise. And in the ultimate act of revenge, our beefy bro body presses all over Duraludon, crushing it to pieces. With that, Raihan
c'est
was
beau.
crushed, and take that Raihan, how does it feel? With the Galarian gym leaders crushed, we
La
stepped
vidéo
up
avec
to
les
face
animations
Leon,
et tout, franchement, elle est
except
incroyable.
we're interrupted by Rose. I'm about to release a new line of bike shorts, my shortest ones yet. Dear God, we've got to stop him. Thankfully, Rose's steel types are absolutely no match for Thug's Bunny, as a vicious onslaught of flamethrowers and pyro balls completely decimate his entire roster, melting them down in no time at all. With the eyes of Galar spared from
Moi j'avais
Rose's
fait une
wrath,
aventure
next,
comme
we
ça.
had to contend with
Un
Eternatus.
peu un
And
défi
let me ask
où je
you
jouais que
this,
Rondoudou.
who would win? A
Du coup, contre
legendary
lui, et je
poisonous
galérais,
dragon
même contre
forged from the most
la
destructive
petite
energy
du
source
conseil
known
14.
to man, or
Du conseil 4,
one
c'est dans le
singular
jeu là ou pas?
beefy bro.
Non, je crois que c'est
Obviously,
dans le jeu
our
là.
sumo slapped
La
that
petite du
dragon
conseil 4,
around.
elle a
Two
l'équipace.
psychics
Bah
quickly
si, si,
take care of
elle a
business,
l'éléphant, donc c'est
slaying
dans
the
celui-là.
almighty dragon. This is it. Try to catch Eternatus now. All right,
Elle a
here
Team
I
Katon
go.
aussi.
Ugh.
Du coup, il y avait plein de Tipaciers et bon, du coup, j'étais dans la merde.
The day was
Mais
saved,
j'avais réussi,
meaning
j'avais
that
réussi.
only one battle remained. Leon, the Galar champion, boasting 6 powerhouse Pokemon, as well as an impeccable catching ability. With only 5 team members, Pokemon that no one wanted and gladly gave away, this was our toughest match yet. Outnumbered and outmatched, this is the final battle. This is Leon. The champ opens up with Aegislash, so I send in the very Pokemon that Leon gave us. Immediately, I use Work Up to boost our offense, as Shadow Ball does big damage. But after munching on a citrus berry snack, a Pyro Ball from our Thug melts down our Steel opponent in one shot. It was down to an even 5-on-5, but next in is Haxorus, which is a Giga Threat. So Cinderace hits a quick U-turn, bringing in our Sumo, who can tank hits extremely well. After eating an Outrage like an absolute king, one Ice Beam is all we need to finish off Leon's first Dragon.
Franchement, il a bien préparé les batailles.
Dragapult. I desperately don't want to take a Shadow Ball with Slowbro, so switch into Venusaur, eating a critical hit, which definitely would have killed Slowbro. After Venusaur lands a Leech Seed, we stall for a few turns with Protect, as well as Synthesis. And once Dragapult is low enough, our regenerated Slowbro returns, tanking a huge Shadow Ball before slaying yet another of Leon's dragons with Ice Beam. And now, we were in a commanding spot, as Mr. Rhyme has his entire career melted away by a drive-by Pyro Ball, and Big Lettuce annihilates Inteleon with some atomic seed bombs. I told you he was the worst starter. This leaves Leon with only his Charizard, who is immediately Gigantamaxed, and I can't take any risks here. So, sadly, our Big Lettuce is sacrificed, burning up to a crisp in a mountain of flames. We won't forget you, Lettuce. Thank you for your service. This noble sacrifice allows us to safely bring in our Toxtricity, who Dynamaxes into the biggest boss baby you've ever seen. After surviving another fiery onslaught from Charizard, we charge up a super effective Max Lightning and just fall short.
What?
However,
Ça
after
survit.
Leon heals, this time, our Max Lightning finishes the job, crushing
Ah oui,
Charizard
il a eu un
in
mauvais rôle.
just one shot.
Parce que
With
c'est
that,
censé tuer.
Leon was defeated, and we had beaten a Pokemon Nuzlock without
Monstrueux,
catching any
monstrueux.
Pokemon. Jump into this video next for more Pokemon
Monstrueux.
content.
Allez
and
voir
like
sa
the
chaîne.
video
Franchement,
to
il fait
pay
des
your
très très bonnes
respects to
vidéos
our fallen
sur
heroes.
Pokémon.
Take care,
Bon, c'est en
and I'll see
anglais,
you in the next
mais
video.
franchement, avec les animations qu'il fait, c'est vraiment ça.